2.
This is SCL 0330.
This is Joe Johnson 030.
This is representing JVS. We are here for a spoiler-filled review for X-Men Apocalypse. So, we've given our ratings for it already. Joe gave it a 9 out of 10. I gave it an 8 out of 10. We actually really enjoyed it, y'all. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you could be mad at us or whatever, but we enjoyed this joint. So, if you haven't seen the movie yet, I recommend you go and watch it. I will say this. For any of y'all that are X-Men fans that did not like X-Men Wolverine Origins or didn't like X-Men 3, this literally, this stomps all over them. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, this is debatably one of the better ones. I'm comparing this one between First Class and this. Like, that's where my ranking is almost at with this. And if you haven't seen the movie, go and check it out. Highly recommend it. Take this, put it in your watch later. Because what we're going to do, instead of going through spoilers throughout, we're going to take some of our favorite moments and we're going to talk about it. Alright, so here we go. The spoiler time. Alright, first spoiler of the time, definitely go and wait for the end credit sequence because there's a moment where something happens in the movie and they run amok. This person runs amok. We'll talk about it in a second. But somebody picks up the vial of blood for Weapon X, and I think it has to do with the creation of X-23 and a certain villain with red eyes that I think that he's going to be moving to the forefront. When I saw ESSEX, I think that's his corporation. I don't want to say who it is. I think that that's something that I'll leave for another discussion entirely. But that's a great segue into Wolverine. Did you want to bring that up?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would love to bring that up. So, so Jean and, so it's Jean, Nightcrawler, and then Scott. So, they're going into the compound where some of their like friends were taken, pretty much. And they go into this corridor, and then Scott is like, he hears something come from this cage, and he was like, there's an animal in there. And then Jean was like, no, it's not an animal, it's a man. But they've taken something from him.
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you mean? And he was like, no, they took part of him.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And you just hear this like, this person in there, or Wolverine in there, just like an animal. Like he sounds legit like an animal, like a caged animal. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like we haven't seen Wolverine depicted quite like that in any X-Men Wolverine related movie. Like, I mean, the animal, like
how are people not talking about this on the social media?
Yeah.
I would be trending like this like a mug, bro.
And also, one thing I loved about that scene was we had no idea he was going to be seen in this film. Like, they didn't put that in the trailer or nothing. Like, and that's one thing I really love because, I mean, a lot of producers now, a lot of companies, you know what I'm saying, they would love the, hey, this is who we're going to feature in this film, but they didn't do that.
Yeah.
And it's just one part. And it was so crazy because you could see just how broken he was.
Yeah.
And he was just, you know, and when he was freed though, man, like, I like that. Oh,
he went on a berserk.
He went berserk.
Berserker mode.
He went berserk. he was
slaying ninjas,
bro. Like, I'm talking about like stabbing dudes, suplexing them, then like stabbing them again.
I mean, that's the first time to really. I mean, if I think about even like the Wolverine movie, X-Men Origins, even the other ones, we don't see ninjas on the floor just bleeding out dead.
Nah.
Like these dudes are gone.
Like,
and he had the joint from the Weapon X program in and of itself. Like, they really tried to mind warp him, and it didn't work. And that classic sequence of him coming out, it was like, it happened. And it was like, oh my gosh. I was like thinking, like, if I was the X-Men, I was sitting there, I was like, yo, what wild animal did this? Yeah. But then what they did perfect is he intercepts Jean, Scott, and Nightcrawler. And Jean looks at him, and it was like, I really felt that like nostalgic moment of when Jean and Wolverine met for the first time in the first X-Men movie. I felt that, you know what I'm saying? She really just wanted to help him and bring him some kind of semblance of a memory, you know? And he went from being so just untamed to finally being calm. He was able to leave on his own. And it's interesting how that got structured that way. But even like Stryker manipulative. I mean, a lot of things like I mean that was freaking what's her name's Mystique's fault though, cause she was the one that fished Wolverine out of there to get him to strike her. So I don't know where that's gonna play in later on when he gets consciously he might be pissed about that. And that might be why their rivalry even started. I don't know, but I love that moment. I love that moment.
One thing that's really powerful about that moment is like his mom was so messed up, he didn't even remember his name.
Yeah.
Jean had to tell him his name.
Yeah.
Like, she had to fish for that memory.
Yeah.
I was like, yo.
That was dope.
Yeah, that was dope.
So the next moment I want to bring up is when all hope was lost. Okay, literally everybody pulled out the stops trying to stop Apocalypse. Even freaking Magneto. I'll talk about Magneto's backstory in a second, but Magneto had decided he's gonna try to help everyone, including his son who just got his leg jacked up, including the woman that he really used to love, Mystique. And the person that really triggered him was his memories of Charles, like what Charles meant to him. And he turned on Apocalypse, even though Apocalypse had given him all this extra power. And he's sitting there trying to put him down, like Cyclops trying to do everything he can, and everybody is literally fighting. And what Charles is doing mentally, he's tried to manipulate his mind into stopping. And it didn't work because Apocalypse, he got the upper hand on him. He grew to the Apocalypse we like. And people don't appreciate stuff like that. I appreciate the fact that he grew. Yeah, it was in the mind, but we actually got to see him Charles Xavier around.
Granted, let's break that down.
Well, I ain't even got
these guys are fighting mentally.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're fighting physically.
Yeah.
And look at Apocalypse is fighting Charles Xavier in his mind. He's fighting Magneto physically, and he's fighting Cyborg. All three of those people at the same time. I was like, holy crap.
And that's how it should be, though, because that's Apocalypse.
Exactly.
It's not like a cookie cutter joint where they did with freaking Ultron. These folks had to grind to even think about trying to take him down. And even with that, it was I think that they distracted him more so than taking him down.
Exactly.
Because even with everything that was happening, Xavier was about to die. His mane was about to be snapped, basically like that. And he was able to just say just enough to say, Jean, I need your help. And prior to this, they did the best introduction. Sansa Stark, oh my gosh, she did a great job as Jean Grey because of this one moment. Because before she kept on having these dreams of him. Her powers are so strong that when Xavier went to her to try to get her to wake up out of her dream, his mind hurt. So he understood the depths of her powers even then, but she was trying to articulate to him, this is the future, this is going to happen, there's something more. And then that's when it all transpired. But anyway, getting to that one focal moment, he said, let it out. Release it. And I was like, yo, all I need is to see the fire and the Phoenix. And you know what I got, jokers? I got the Phoenix, bruh. I saw that joint, I was like, this is what we should have gotten in X-Men 3 that we didn't get. I don't know, for me, bro, I can't be overcritical on this movie because it's giving me the things that I've always wanted. Yeah. To see Wolverine like that, to see Jean Grey awaken the small bits of what freaking Phoenix is capable of. That's just a small portion. She hasn't even gone to Dark Phoenix yet. And they actually depicted it, and they show her just walking off, and you seeing all the fire and everything coming out of it. She ripped everything away from him. I was like, yes. If I was him, I would have been thinking, yo, I should have recruited her. I don't even know, I guess he didn't have time. I know, but it is what it is.
I mean, shoot.
That was a payoff moment for me.
I was like, okay, so y'all got an ace up y'all sleeve. And everybody was just quiet after that. It was that, they're kind of okay, that didn't happen. Let's go tend to Charles.
They didn't want to get afraid.
They was let's tend to Charles. Yeah. Jean just single-handedly basically took down.
And then she just
most powerful mutant
walked back and just
Like, yeah, we're gonna talk about this back at the school.
Oh no, matter of fact, like Charles wasn't waking up. Yeah. She woke him up.
She woke. Oh man, we're talking about this at the school, Gene. Gene, detention.
Gene be like, look, if y'all know it's good for you, don't say nothing to nobody.
It was like,
okay.
She can get whatever she wants. Yeah. I slide some cake. Be like, Gene, what you want, man? Like, anything you want, Gene. But what's up?
But then, right? Okay, so in X-Men: Days of Future Past, we got one of the most amazing action sequences with Quicksilver, Peter. Dude. You know what I'm saying? Like it was one of the best sequences that you'd ever really see from an action standpoint, right? Okay, we get understanding that Quicksilver knows that Magneto's his dad, and he's talking it over with his mom. He knows that like something just happened to Magneto, which we'll go into. That'll be the last thing we'll talk about. And he decides he wants to go to the school to check on him. While this is going on, for whatever stupid reason, Scott, Jean, Nightcrawler, Jubilee, they all go out and go party or whatever and go to the mall and hang out. They wouldn't go saw the Return of the Jedi. Awesome reference, by the way, because it's a callback saying, even though X-Men 3 was okay, it was the weakest of the all. And that was the nudge. I love that. But while everything's going on, basically Apocalypse has Magneto, he's got everybody, and he was taking Charles Xavier. And Havoc, Scott's brother, decided to try to stop it all. You know what I'm saying? And when he tried to, it hit something and the explosion ruptured throughout the whole entire hallway. And basically you're watching the Xavier School explode, literally from the ground up. And as this is happening, I can't remember the song that was playing, but it was the perfect song. And all of a sudden you see Quicksilver just like, And he just goes and proceeds to run and like drag every single person out of the line of an explosion. Not out of the line of fire. Because before it was a bullet. You know what I'm saying? You got multiple bullets coming in. This man is going so fast.
It was like the best scenes.
I was like, how can y'all be upset about a movie that gives us this? Yeah. I don't know. What did you think about that moment?
I mean, Quicksilver. We was watching, which one was it? Yeah, it was Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Bro, and even though that came out like a while back, I was watching that scene with Quicksilver, and I was like, this is really good CG. Like, I'm comparing that scene to every other scene where I've seen like someone do like quick motion or someone's like going like very fast, and no one's ever I've seen done a scene like that.
Not like that, because it's always like this like kind of blur in the back of it versus manipulating the world around.
Exactly. And I mean, and this guy is moving so freaking fast. Like, and you really get a sense of that while watching these scenes, man.
I was sitting there thinking, I was like, why can't Barry Allen get scenes like that?
I didn't want to say it, but I was thinking that exact thing. Because I was like, it's ridiculous how fast that guy is, bro. Yeah. Bro, let's talk about Magneto, though.
So, the biggest thing with Magneto,
that
was probably the saddest thing I think I'd ever seen, bro. Like, that's what, for me, added to the tone that made me appreciate this film, because it plays to two different things. It plays to Michael Fassbender's acting ability and ability to be likable, hateable, and then redeemable all at the same time, because basically he decided to quit everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, after Days of Future Past, he made himself a target by threatening everybody, and then he receded back in. He had told Charles, I'm going to try to do it the right way. And he leaves, gives himself a new name, has a child, has a wife, and in the middle of work, something happens with the earthquake, actually. There was like a whole vat of like liquid metal that almost fell on my coworker, and he stopped it. And he did it so honestly, you know what I'm saying, that he didn't want anybody to pay attention to him. And he left and went back home. Goes back home, tells his wife, we got to leave, because he's worried that people are going to know, And then they looked for their daughter, couldn't find her. Come to find out, the police got her. And like, they just are holding her captive. And he's ready to turn himself in. He was about to turn himself in and everything. But his daughter just like him, the symbolicism is amazing. Because with him in X-Men First Class and with X-Men, the 1999 version, he reacted and had his powers awaken from distress and worry that his family's going to take it from him. And he had this interesting conversation with his daughter about that same exact thing. And so she starts using, manipulating the animals around her to, defend her dad. And while they didn't have guns, they did have like arrows and stuff. And they shot one. And it went not only through his daughter's heart, but it went through his wife. He lost them both. And like the locket that he gave his daughter, it had his parents in it. And he said, they're always going to be with you, just like they're always with me in my heart. He took that locket, the only piece of metal he had, he went a wreck on all of them, man. It was so emotional, man. Like, by the time Charles finally intercepted his mind, he was trying to convince him. It broke Charles down, the amount of depth of pain that he felt. But I don't know, man. I loved it, but it was so sad.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on it, man?
Bro, yeah, that part was crazy. And then I mean when he met up with Apocalypse though.
Oh my God.
Apocalypse gave him a huge upgrade, bro.
Because he took him back to the concentration camp.
Yeah, he took him back to the concentration camp and he was like, touch the ground or feel the ground. Feel the metal beneath the ground in the earth. I was like, and this guy starts pulling up the metal like inside of the earth and starts lifting it out the surface. And so you see like just basically a metal storm like just floating around. I was just like, holy crap.
It ripped everything.
Like,
and the thing is, dude, I don't know that he really touched him in awakening that, or if he just always had that potential in him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because with Storm, that was an awesome moment with Storm. Storm actually gets some great, like, screen time. Like, she's an awesome character. She's got the accent on point. And her powers, matter of fact, they do the best job with Storm that they've ever done, in my opinion. I'm sorry, Halle Berry, but they do.
No,
even with Psylocke,
yeah,
the same exact thing. Like, her powers, they do a great job with those. I mean, some people are going to be nitpicky, like, oh, she's supposed to have a sword. She's not supposed to be able to do this. She's supposed to be telekinesis. Whatever, dude. Like, it's awesome action. You know, get over that. But when he intercepted with Magneto, he was just like, follow me. He didn't sit there. He never touched him. So I feel like he never awakened anything. I think it just was like always there. And it's crazy because he does the same thing with Charles. Charles was like using Cerebro. He freaking inhabited Charles' mind and controlled him to actually manipulate people. And I was like, this is serious. Because the tone was like, dude, if he can do that to Charles, what more can this man really do?
I mean, the dude was just crazy.
Yeah. But yeah. I don't got anything else. I really enjoyed the movie. Like I said, I gave it 8 out of 10. Joe gave it 9 out of 10. If y'all have any more questions, let us know. Maybe we'll do a live discussion and talk about it. If any of y'all love the film. If y'all didn't, fine. You know what I'm saying? We gave y'all some really good bullet points. Keep it locked. JVX, we ain't gonna stop. Y'all have a blessed weekend. Have a great Memorial Day. Later, y'all.